Well, it's wonderful to have on 100 Huntley Street with me a couple of friends of mine that I've gotten to know over the last 3 or 4 years. Sadly, through the tsunami that struck back in 2004, that's when I went over just shortly thereafter with Jack and Peggy Kennedy, and Pastor David Loganathan was there with me. And let's welcome to 100 Huntley Street Pastor David Loganathan, as well as Pastor Yoga Thomas. Good to have you gentlemen on here with us. David, we were together in the northern parts of Sri Lanka, which is the Tamil area. The southern half is Sinhalese, the northern half is Tamil, and I visited actually the whole island with Jack and Peggy. We started in Colombo, I believe it was, and went down and all the way up the coast, right to the very top, right up to Point Pedro, the furthest point north.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was wonderful to be there with you, Pastor David. In fact, I believe we have a few photographs, and maybe you can tell us again. I took this photo of you. There you are. Now that's actually a mass grave.
Mass grave of people who died in Mullaitivu, and those areas were buried in those mass graves.
Yes, yeah, we were there together, and we actually came back and showed video. Now this is a church. That's the front part. The whole back part is gone. You can see the ocean there on the left, and there's the front part, what you saw, but off to the right, it's just totally gone. The tsunami wiped it away, along with most, sadly, many lives. Men, women, and children lost their lives. How many people, again, lost their lives during the tsunami in Sri Lanka?
More than 20,000 people, I think.
Yeah, it was very, very sad. I visited mass graves in the south and mass graves in the north as well.
In the east also, Batikalava.
And in the east, yes. Yes, and of course in the newspapers, right now we're reading a lot of the situation, the civil war that's taking place. And a lot of people, and myself included, don't fully understand why it is the way it is. Can you gentlemen give us a little bit of history, and then we want to show more video footage of what's happening today with the strife, with the civil war. But take us back, Pastor Yoga Thomas, a little bit with regards to the history, why it is the way it is.
No, it was united Sri Lanka well ahead. Tamils were ruling the northern part of Sri Lanka, and southern part was Sinhalese. British took over, and they were colonizing at that time. In 1948, when they give the independence, they have put Tamils and Sinhalese as a united Sri Lanka for their administrative purposes, and left us in 1948.
1948, the British left, and they were ruling the whole region of Sri Lanka. Two people groups, very distinct people groups.
For the administrative
in the south, the Sinhalese, which are primarily Buddhist as well, and in the north, Tamil, which was primarily Hindu.
Yes.
And then the British pulled out.
Yes.
And then
they put them together.
They put them together, and that was the problem, the challenge. Because in the south, where the seat of government was, in the Sinhalese territory, they decided they wanted to rule the whole area, which the Tamil were under that. And the challenges, the problems began. For years, there's been problems, right?
In 1958, I think, if I'm not mistaken, singular only act was brought by late SWRD Bandaranaike. That triggered a lot of troubles in Sri Lanka. The Tamils felt they were kind of alienated by the Sinhalese majority. Since then, they were trying to sort out problems politically. Selvanayam, one of the political leaders who wanted to have a united Sri Lanka and to have a equal power state like that, like a province. But all these things were kind of not implemented in Sri Lanka. So this led to young people taking arms to get their rights, which is not right.
And this is the term tigers. Is that right?
Tamil tigers. You know, like, I want to say you something. The West always, when they say Tamil, they include tigers.
They just throw it in.
Throw it in.
Because we've heard in the news, Tamil, tigers. So you throw it in. But that's not necessarily the case. When I was in the north of Sri Lanka, I met a lot of Tamil people. I don't think I met one Tamil tiger, which are considered the rebels.